What's up? Welcome to our new podcast about building worlds.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. Building worlds for characters and players and just books and
Yeah.
lore and
Screenplays and
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
This is how the nitty gritty gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come from a very Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master background. And Nathan here, you said you come from more of a screenplay.
More screenplay, short story, kind of
Yeah.
a world building, but I love world building.
Yeah.
So our focus is just about world building in general.
We got some other guys that are going to be joining us that are focused on like character creation, lore, just different pieces of a world, and that's the idea. We're just going to build something that we can use.
What do we call this crazy podcast show, though, Blake?
I don't know. See, I don't know, man. I like Forge and Fable.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that one's good, and I like Arcane Genesis. I think that one's good too.
Arcane Genesis is pretty good.
I really like Forge and Fable though. I think that's a pretty solid.
Yeah,
choice.
and it kind of encompasses everything we're going for.
Yeah,
more from a storytelling.
I'm down with Forge and Fable.
Yeah,
it's like building legends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's what that kind of reminds me of. Forge and Fable. It's like we're making legend.
Yeah,
you know, and like that's what I mean. That's what you want, right? In a fantasy setting, you want to be able to, go into it and be like, all right, this is this world, and here's what's going on, and I'm, this character knows X, Y, Z, and he's from this place, and all that stuff has to be defined.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's defined by a player, and sometimes it's defined by an architect, right? A world builder, and that's what we want to talk about. It's like building something, building worlds.
Yeah, my whole thing is like I wanted to get into it and ask Nathan some questions because I come in from, like I said, a very much D&D background where a lot of the time my stories are half written. And my players finish it for me, and I'm writing
finish it for you. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, when I come up with a world, I usually have a concept. Like, the concept for the world we were speaking about off camera is I just came up with what would happen if the gods didn't exist. And that whole thing formulated into everything we talked about where magic is bad, it's gone crazy, and now we have this totalitarian regime. From a screenwriter's perspective, when you're coming up with a world, what do you start with, an idea and a theme, or do you start with a single, like, hey, I want to make a world that has this, or do you go for more of a I have a character in mind and I want to build this world around a character and their story?
No, it's a great question. For me, it's usually I start with, first of all, it's like, how does this how do the people that live in it experience reality? And what is their reality day-to-day living, and then I kind of work back from that. So like with Pilo, I was like, okay, what is like the people that work the fields and the people that live in the castles, and like how do they experience life? And I thought it would be interesting if there wasn't much magic anymore, and there was like people just like used to talk about magic like it was real and they believed it, but that's the old way of thinking. Like that's not our experience. We don't experience anymore. And I thought about that. And I said, okay. And then I worked back from that. Well, how did we get to this point? Right.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going back further and further and further. So when I was building that world, that's how I started, was because I find it fascinating. Like we live in a world today where we think about, of course, the things that people used to believe were real, we look as not being real. But what if they were, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if all the stuff that we think today is, oh, it's not real? What if
What
it
if it
was?
was? Yeah.
Right? Like, what if it was? And so, well, what happened? Right? Why is it not real anymore? Why don't we experience it like they did back then? And
Yeah.
so I think that's just fascinating from a story perspective because it opens the door to go so many different ways, and that's
Yeah.
how I think.
That's
That's
very
super
interesting.
cool.
And like, I like that because from my perspective, when I'm creating a world, like I said, I start with a theme or a simple idea and I expand on that. And my goal is like, what options can I give my players to expand that story? From your
Right,
perspective, you're kind of the main narrator and you're not
right.
guiding characters. You're writing every person as their
Yeah.
separate own person in your story. So I guess the question I would try to ask is when you're thinking of plot lines and certain characters and especially character development of your main characters, what sort of ideas do you come up with to tell an interesting story that's all from your own head and not driven by other players at the table?
Yeah. I well, like with any good storyteller is um you want to create a character that you love, that you are attached to, that is
Or
just
hate.
well, first, I like to think of the one that I love and then just destroy them. Just
Yes.
put them through misery. That is, to
Yeah.
me, good
Okay.
storytelling. And then you need evil people to do that. So there's your
Sure.
evil characters. But, I think that just makes the most compelling storytelling for me. But
Make somebody that everybody loves and then just tear him apart.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kill his
What
wife
about you? Like,
and his family
yeah,
and just shoot his
right.
dog and his truck break down and like the whole nine, man. All of
Absolutely,
it. Yeah,
absolutely.
all of it.
What about like you when you're thinking of a world though? When you're building a world, what is like the first thing you start with? Is it like how does the economy work, or is it like the magic system, or like what is the first thing you think of?
Well, when you said you started in a place and you kind of built backwards, I kind of think of it as I have a center point idea and I build outwards in a
Yeah,
360.
Okay,
same.
So my
okay,
idea originally for my world, Nyan, was okay, well, what would happen if the gods didn't exist? And that eventually formed into well, what would happen if magic was corrupted and the people of this world had to cut off the gods to save the
Yeah.
world.
right,
And so it goes into this thing that there is really no good, there is really no evil. It's just all moral ambiguity in areas of gray. So that's kind of how I decided to make this world. Like you have guys that had the best of intentions, but they overstretched. They went too far. And now they're considered the bad guys by everyone out
Yeah.
looking in. But for everyone in this main city, they think they're heroes. They think that they're the best things ever. They worship them almost as gods. So it was kind
Well,
of an interesting thing.
they saved everyone.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, what do you do when you're granted this,
right.
power and you realize that it's not just actual evil corrupting forces, but that, greed and power can corrupt just as bad as an actual
Just
demonic
as,
force,
just as bad. Yeah, exactly.
if not worse.
When you're thinking of like you were talking about the politics of how like the people there believe that the reason why they don't have magic is because magic ruined everything, and so that's why they don't have magic. And so there's a lot of misinformation by the government power structure that keeps them believing that.
Yep.
When you're like thinking of those things and thinking of those things, do you think you're influenced by what's going on in the world today at all?
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, I don't really choose sides as far as politics go in our
right,
world, and I kind of
yeah,
look at it from a broad perspective, big picture thing.
yeah,
And that's the exact dichotomy I have here in my world is you have this power structure that is holding power for most of the world and they have their own agenda, but then you have these other people that were there before and they have access to this
right,
magic and they have access to this history that everyone else is being told is wrong and is false, and they're being seen as the bad guys by everyone else in this
Yeah.
world. So it's like especially because I'm doing this for my,
outsiders and naysayers and whatever.
Is
and
it? Let
living.
me ask you. Is it?
Being outcast for their belief that
Yeah.
that
How do
this
how do you?
isn't true, but it was like I was there, I saw it. It was.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
How do you
But those
deal with?
voices were being silenced.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah,
deal with like? Okay, you talked about moral ambiguity, good and evil. How do you deal with like in your worlds, like the people or the characters? Are there a lot of people? Are there a lot of people who think that they're good but are actually evil,
probably.
or they tell themselves they're good? Like how many? Because I always think that like I always wonder, you know, very few characters know that they're evil and embrace their evilness, right? Most
Yeah.
people tell themselves they're the good guy.
I think, personally, I think that the best bad guys are the ones who are actually right,
Yeah.
the ones who
Right.
are actually likable, the ones who are actually doing what they believe to be the right thing.
Yeah.
But in the story, they're on the wrong side of the law or whatever it may be.
Right.
To offer that like that position that's like, well, they're bad because they're breaking the law,
Yeah.
but they're breaking the law because this is bad. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
In my world,
That's a fun position to
Yeah.
play from.
it all started in my world from people trying to do the right thing. These druids that are, connected to nature, connected to the land, and connected to the planet itself, they discovered this corruption. And in
Okay.
doing so, they went out and they tried to get help. And a lot of these places that they tried to get help from were these giant magical kingdoms that had already kind of experienced corruption from their
Yeah,
deity. And so
shut
when
them
they
down.
tried to help, or they tried to ask for help, they either got captured, killed on sight, or just shunned away. And the only people they found were these isolated artificers that kind of were more logical in thought process, and they weren't really concerned with the ongoings of everybody else around them. And they did their own testing and they realized, okay, this is the truth. We will help you. And they had this idea, okay, well, what's the main thing going on? Magic's causing the world to go bad. We need to stop magic. But we're surrounded by kingdoms that do nothing but cast magic. So what do? We have to, in their whole thought process, that we have to conquer them. And they didn't set out with the intention of killing and creating this dystopian, well, almost utopian world that they live in now. If
Yeah,
you're inside the walls, it's utopian at least. Um, they just basically they started a boulder rolling down, collecting moss, and they couldn't stop it. And 100 years later, now it's this totalitarian regime that has a bunch of
Right.
almost religious propaganda, and they're rewriting
Right.
history because they're afraid to tell people the truth.
yeah.
They
Bunch of zealots.
And then you
Yeah.
have the other side of the coin, like the guys who are trying to win magic back. They don't necessarily know the truth. The druids never made it to them. They never heard what's actually happening. So they think
Yeah,
these people are just controlling magic because they think it's evil. So they're like, well, I've been casting magic my whole life and nothing bad ever happened. So they're trying to fight back. And but some of them are corrupted. Some of them have the evil magic too. So you never know.
Nathan, are those your dogs?
Those are
No,
my
that's
dogs. They're going
Oh,
crazy.
those are
Keith's
Keith's
dogs.
dogs. Oh, okay.
I fed my dogs before the podcast because I knew they don't eat. They let me know.
It's a good thing we can edit this before we upload it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, man. That's I don't know. Mine does the same thing. There will be a point. There will be a point in a podcast sometime that I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta go take Gus out because he
Yeah.
he goes to the door and sniffs.
Yeah.
So I have an
I'm
interesting
like,
question
dude,
for you, Nathan.
okay,
Getting,
I got you.
getting into the more nitty gritty of like once you have a world created and you have your ideas and you have
Yeah.
a lot of it kind of fleshed out in your head, and now you're getting into specific character development. And you said you like writing dialogue. For me, dialogue is kind of I come up with an idea or a scene I would like to present, and then it's all on my characters to create the dialogue.
Yeah.
When you have a world especially like you said, that's like, well, what if we had all this stuff in the past and don't have it now? How do you make interesting dialogue between two characters that live in this world when it's only coming from your brain? You don't have other people to
Yeah.
bounce off of.
Well, that's why I write like all the documents of lore for all the different countries first, right? Like the different nations and tribes.
I was gonna say,
What?
dude, I talk to myself all the time, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Dialogue's not that bad.
yeah.
I think we all
But
talk to
like
ourselves.
you have to think about like, okay, this person, like where are they, how did they grow up, right? How old are
Yeah.
they, what is their, what was their upbringing, and what did they live like, and what's their experience up to this
In
point, and
marketing, they say, what's your avatar?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, because it's like the if someone hasn't had a lot of social interaction, then they're not gonna maybe know the social contract of being sensitive to other people's feelings, right? And they're just gonna say exactly what they mean. And so like thinking about all those things go into dialogue, and it's like a being or an entity that has lived for 1,000 years and has never had to be in fear of anything ever would communicate quite different
Right.
than
Yeah,
a person
that's true.
that's afraid of dying. And
Exactly.
yeah, they've had no social development. So, it's like what is it? It's like when, an elf, and a dwarf become friends. The elf leaves for 20 years and then comes back, and the dwarf's like, "What happened? We were friends. You just left." And to the elf, it's like, "Well, that was nothing. That's my concept of time is different."
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that goes into like thinking about dialogue and how they would phrase things and say things.
Sure.
That's
Oh yeah,
very
man, for sure.
because when
I don't know, man. I have conversations about to run in my head sometimes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So there's
yeah,
stuff like a back and forth with
yeah.
myself that I'm like, well, I could, blah blah blah, and then maybe this would happen. But if it doesn't, then what if this and blah blah blah? And so, you know, I mean,
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell my wife
you
all
can
the time.
control.
She's like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "I'm talking to myself.
Yep.
We're working it out.
Don't
It's
worry,
okay."
we're working. Yeah, don't worry, we're working it out. Okay.
I find that very
Yeah.
fascinating because when I come up with dialogue, like I said, it's usually I have a starting line of dialogue, and then it's after that. Well, if my players say this, multiple choice. If my players say that,
Right.
choice. So I'm writing all kinds of different things. Like
Wow.
this player says this. Well, my response isn't going to be what they would have said if they completely said this thing. So now
Man.
a lot of times I'm thinking on the fly, and I have to
Hey,
come up.
man, that's the thing with D&D though. That's the thing with D&D though. They aren't ever going to do what you expect them to do.
Oh no, they will always look at
Not
the
gonna
guy you
happen.
have set up, and they will walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, look at this nice juicy plot hook right here. Don't you like this plot hook? And they're like, nah, I want to go to the bar. They're like, what?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we go to the house of lady favors.
Oh man.
Yeah, and you just leave you stranded,
frustrating?
man. Just leave you
Is it
stranded.
The biggest tip for any DMs out there that are wanting to run games and have all this stuff, written.
Have a backup plan. Always have a plan Z.
The biggest thing is it doesn't matter what door they go behind as long as that door holds the information.
That's right.
because you
That's
wrote
right.
it,
It doesn't matter
the
what
bar-
door it is, as long as it's this door.
So your bartender was about to tell them about the Thieves Guild in town. Well, they talked to him. Well, now they're talking to, this bum on the street. Well, now that
Right.
bum mentions that there's this.
That bum knows about the Thieves Guild too, though.
Right.
He can drop.
Yeah.
You still got to slide that information at them, right?
Yeah.
The
Have
information.
you guys seen the episode of Community where they do the Dungeons and Dragons game?
I have not.
My god! So that's about my experience with Dungeons and Dragons. Besides that, and Stranger Things. But
Stranger Things is actually an excellent representation of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Because the dungeon master is this Abed, and he's like coming up with stuff on the fly. He's like, "Oh, you've been hit," and stuff like that. So when you guys do that, you have that all in the back of your head already, and so it's like, "Oh, congratulations!"
I will
you opened the door.
say, Danny Pudi is fucking hilarious, dude. That guy's so funny.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's funny as hell, man.
And that's what it is. Like when I'm playing in or DMing a game of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'll quote Brennan Lee Mulligan, who's like a really famous dungeon master out there. He said, like, I'm the Greek chorus.
Fixing to be way more famous too. Shit.
Oh yeah, dude, that guy's awesome. But he broke it down to the fact that, like, I'm the entire supporting cast.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a lot of the time, new players will see the DM as their enemy because the DM is all the bad guys. But from my perspective,
somebody's got to be them. Somebody's got to be them.
Right.
From my perspective, I look at it as I am the good guys. I'm the bad guys. I'm the weather. I'm, structure of the story.
I am the weather. I am the mountains.
Is there a little bit of a god complex there being the dungeon master? Just a little tiny.
That's one of the things I try to actually step away from, because the god complex can actually be a very bad thing, or it can be a very good thing depending on how you use it.
I want to have fun. I want to have fun. I want everybody to have fun.
Right. You want people to have a good time.
I want everybody to be heroes and have a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For a dungeon master,
in order for that to happen, sometimes sad things happen. Sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes amazing things happen.
Do you think of it as like the player is a character and you're trying to create an arc for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To a point. What I like to do is
that's the thing. Just like in a narrative, right? Where you're like, okay, this is the character that I'm portraying in this narrative. They're the star of their own show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta put them in situations where they get to be in the spotlight, because like that's what's interesting for their character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there has to be stakes. There has to be conflict, resolution, all the things you'd have to do if you told a story. You're doing that, and as a dungeon master, creating that story, or the potential for there to be a story.
Potential for there to be a story. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's why I really love doing session zeros, character creation altogether, because I can outline, okay, these are the themes of my story. These are central plots of my story, not necessarily plot hooks and giving away any spoilers, but like, this is the world you live in. I need you to help me create you a character that has history in this world. I don't want you to just be like, I'm a level 1 fighter and I have no attachments and no wants and no desires.
Right.
Yeah. I got no mother, no father, no cousins, no brothers, no nothing, no dog, no grandma, no nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
And sometimes it's really hard.
It's like, dude, where did you live, Mr. Nothing? Like,
sometimes it's very challenging to look at a person that has no creative, and some people don't. Some people just aren't creative, and look at somebody and say, I know you want to play this game, but I need a nugget of creativity.
I need something.
Point at a spot on this map and tell me where you're from.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, actually. It's like, show me on the doll where he touched you.
Yeah.
Show me on the map. Show me on the map where you're from.
Yeah.
Right? Show me where you're from. Let's tell a story. But that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing about being a DM. It's like setting up a group of people to like tell a story together.
Yeah.
Is what's really cool. That's what I love about being a DM. It's like, you get to all do it together, right? And once everybody's past what Keith was talking about, God complex, like crazy, brought you down, meat grinder DM. Right. Like if you can get past that and be like, be like, all right, this is a guy who tells us what happens when the dice roll,
Right.
right? Because like
Right.
that's really what it is. It's like the dice tell the story.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. You can write it up to a point, but after that, man, it's just on. It's on the dice.
Yep.
Like, what's it gonna be? Don't know.
I
Yeah.
set the scene.
But we're gonna find out, and I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And if
Yeah.
you're invested as a character, you're interested too.
Yeah.
Right. And
One of
if you're Mr. Level 1 fighter with no stakes, then like you probably don't care.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
at that point, you got to ask your player, like, why are you here, man? Because
One of the things I
my
love,
time and yours.
Yeah.
one of the things I love telling my players is, especially with the nerd community, a lot of the nerds I can reference Tolkien, Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
understand at least what I'm saying. And I'll try to tell
Yeah.
them, okay, you're Frodo in this story.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the people around you are Merry, Pippin, Sam, Legolas, and Aragorn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you fit in with those people?
Yeah.
And where did you come from? What are your goals? Is your goal, oh, I found this ring, I'm going to go destroy it? No, Frodo has way more complexity than that.
Yeah.
Give me 1% of that for your character and why he's here in this world.
Yeah.
I can give you a compelling,
Yeah.
because what I like to do is I have my general arc of the story I want to tell, and I want my characters to, experience this. And I'll go back to something Brendan Lee Mulligan said again, where he said, I want my story to be on rails, but I don't ever want my rails to be straight.
Yeah, exactly.
I think of my characters as people that want to achieve the goal going in a straight line. My players want the most convoluted shape to get to the end as possible, but to imagine they're always going in the straightest line possible.
Yeah.
So my whole concept is, hey, if you have a player arc that you want to see happen with your character, I will do my best to reference it and give you ideas. But if the dice roll bad, if you don't talk to the right person, if you guys collectively decide to go to a different town and do a different thing, I will try to get back to that. But it's your agency and your choices that are making
Yeah.
it work out.
It's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
try to give you the experience you want at the table, but it's not always in my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
you're-
you gotta take it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is, and that's some Buddha Matrix stuff, right? It's like
Yeah.
I can show you the door,
Yeah.
but I can't walk through it for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got to go yourself, man. That's not anything I can do anything about. Like you got to take the hook. You got to take the hook. If you
Right.
don't take the hook, I can't help you.
And that's the
Right.
greatest thing about hooks too, is like B. Dave Walters, who DMs a lot of stuff and he's a really good player. He said, it doesn't matter what door they go behind, I know the dragon's behind the door. And
Yeah.
that's the subversion. And that's where it probably differs
Yep.
a little bit from your storytelling, Nathan, is that I have the option to be like, well, my character said they're going to go through this door and that's not what I had planned, but I can rewrite it and bam, now the dragon's behind this door. And
Yeah.
we still hit that same plot. And now I
Yep.
have the
Right.
next hook to set it up.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm interested from your perspective. You kind of have to be on the ball with every single plot line you want to hit, and you got to make it interesting from a reader's perspective or a viewer's perspective.
Yep.
How do you manage telling a deep story between characters with a narrative in mind, but also wanting to hit those character driven arcs that are in between the whole narrative story you're trying to tell?
Yeah. I always think of it as I try to put myself in the position of the person that I'm writing and imagining what they would feel and what they would say. And, I always start with like first, like a paragraph of like, what would the whole story be? And then I break it into, okay, now we go to an outline. What would the story be? Right. And then it would go in more. And so by the time I get to the actual scene, I've already thought about everything
Yeah.
else.
Already thought about
Yeah.
all the steps.
Yeah, all the steps
Yeah.
to get there, and I like to write less dialogue than necessary because I feel like that's more realistic. I feel like people generally don't say everything that they feel or think,
Right.
Yeah.
and so I think that most people will people will just they'll be saying something and then they'll just switch topics mid sentence, or they won't even finish their sentence, or or they'll ask a question and the other person won't answer because they've got no answer. They don't want to answer, or stuff like that. So I kind of feel like with dialogue, less is more.
I have an interesting question for you.
Yeah.
Because one of the hardest things to do about being a DM in Dungeons and Dragons is you don't get to see what the bad guys are up to.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I can't be like, well, let's take a break here and let's tell you what the bad guy's doing in their lair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for your story concepts, how much does it help when you're writing a story and you can cut to, well, hey, this is what the characters aren't seeing?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I like to with particularly bad guys, like in the world that I created, Kyle is the he's the physical king, but he's actually controlled by a kind of being, an evil being. So I always like to show him doing things, but not explain it. Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, he's doing something. He's got his slaves digging through mines, and he's looking for some kind of artifact, but you don't know what it is
You
or
don't know
why
what
he's
it is.
doing it, right?
Or
And so
why he wants it. Yeah, exactly.
why he wants it. But then when he pulls it out at the big battle scene, you're like, oh shit, something's about to go down.
That's
Right?
the
Because
thing.
yeah, it was important.
Yeah.
He got it, but what is it going to use it for? So like that's the kind of like storytelling that gets me excited, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, the dagger of Brunei
See,
or
that's
whatever, right?
that's
Like,
some,
it's yeah.
I always loved that on like Super. Did you watch Super Friends?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and they'd be like, meanwhile at the Hall of Justice. It was like,
right, yeah, yeah.
and they like flapped over to a different scene and stuff. I
That's
love
one of the
that,
things
man.
I wish I could do that as a DM because that would help out
For
so
sure.
much.
Right.
There's
For
so
sure.
many times like I have this bad guy that is doing
Yeah.
something terrible right now, but I
Right.
can't.
You guys need to know about right now. Right
Yeah.
now, because it's bad and it's happening right now in this place, right there,
Right.
where you're right next to. See that? See this right here on the map?
You
That
can't
right
tell him.
there?
You can't give him a hint.
I have to sprinkle little breadcrumbs and be like, hey,
Dude,
little carrot.
sometimes you're like, you got to take the hook. You got to take the hook. You got to take the
Yeah.
hook. Come on,
Yeah.
take the hook.
Yeah,
Come on, take the hook.
please,
So
guys.
So
help me out
you
here.
The hook,
you
take
can
the
give
hook.
him like they go and talk to a bum or whatever, and the bum's like, I'd stay away from that alley over there if I were you.
They'd
Or
be like, so
something
what?
like
This one right here?
Yeah, yeah.
The one with the 6 neon flashing lights that are
Yeah,
don't go
exactly.
here.
The ones that say, do not enter. Yeah,
Right,
let's go there.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I want to go there. I think I want to go to the bar. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how much that happens. And it's not any fault of the players.
Right.
The funny thing about it is you can present them with all sorts of options, but a lot of the time, and I blame video games for this, people playing in D&D, they have FOMO. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
I know the plot progresses down this corridor, but I need to go check every single other corridor because there might be a chest or there might be it. And I'm sitting there like, there's not, guys. It's all behind this, please.
It's like, dude,
Right.
no. That's
interesting.
I can drop it on your head right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I can do it. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Will you go if I just like?
So you've got all this story built, but because they played so many video games where they're like, okay, I need to go get these jewels and the energy pack and the thing, they want to go explore that before they go to the actual campaign that you've written out in your head.
Yeah, they played too much Minecraft and Fortnite, and they're like, I need map. I need map.
Or
you get the map. It's like,
or
dude, no, you don't fucking need it. Come on, let's go. And that's
They
what
also-
I did see a campaign that Will Wheaton DM'd. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But it was so good.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And the only reward he ever gave those guys the whole campaign was 10 gold and a party.
Okay.
That's all he gave them.
That's
So
all.
like every time it was something, they were like, "Don't we get whatever?" And he was like, "You know what you get? 10 gold and a party." That's what. That's all they got ever. You know,
Yeah,
That's great.
because like it was about the narrative,
right.
right?
The
But
story.
that's what Keith, I think, was trying to say earlier. You have to have the players have agency, right? They can do whatever they want, but like you
Right.
have to have their buy-in on the story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like you all have to agree to tell the story together.
Yeah.
And when you all agree to tell the story together, that's when the magic happens. When the like real magic happens, right?
The worst
Is
thing you
when-
can say,
But like if you got murder hobos and they're like,
Right.
"Yo, what do we get?" It's like 10 gold in the party, man. Come on, let's fucking go. Go.
the worst
Nope.
thing to say as a DM is no.
I
Yeah.
hate it. I
You
don't
wanna
want
have-
to.
No.
I don't want to. Like I don't want to say no. But I had a guy the other day that was like, "I want to be a half goblin, half elf," and it's like that would never happen.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, that would never happen. And in this setting, it's not gonna. It's not
Right. In
It's
that
not
in
a
that
thing. That's
in
not
that
a thing. That's
world,
not a
you
thing.
can't do that. Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do that.
And
Yeah.
it's like, well, how come I can't do that? And I was like, because the fucking elves, they were impregnated by a goblin, even in a case of non-consent,
Right.
like magical baby killer, right?
Right. Right.
Like that's it. Elves are tricky, man.
Right. Yeah.
They got stuff.
Yeah.
They're
And so
not
that's
gonna.
the thing.
That's not gonna. See that? That's
Right.
not gonna happen. It's just not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
In that case,
Sorry.
I wouldn't
Like
actually say no. I would take a lesson from improv and I would yes and.
I didn't say no. I just said I don't think it
That's
would
not
happen
what-
in the setting,
Yeah.
right? I didn't say you couldn't do it. You can if you want, but
Right.
if you do, your mom had a magical abortion and you're dead. I'm sorry. That's it. Okay, so roll up another character and let's fucking play.
Right. I like to yes and my characters. If my characters come up with a stupid idea, or when we're talking about people biting on plot hooks, sometimes they'll take something I'm just putting in for flavor, just to make a scene
Oh
more interesting.
God.
They'll take
Yep.
that as a plot hook. Like, oh,
Yep.
I'm gonna have waitress flirt with this guy a little bit. Well, then
Yeah. So now the waitress is the main fucking character of the story. Dude.
No,
Congratulations.
she's an orc waitress. She just works 9 to 5. She has 6 kids at home. Like she's not.
He's
No.
finna have 7 because I killed
Right.
the old man in the alley.
But that's the thing. When my players come up with
Uh.
ideas that are like, well, hey, we're gonna go talk to that waitress that was flirting with me earlier.
Yeah.
What I'll do is say, okay, well, maybe that waitress can point them in the direction of somebody that points them in the right direction.
Right.
And so
Right.
I'll swivel in my head and go, okay, well, the waitress can say, well, I overheard this conversation between these two guys. And then they'll go talk to
Right.
that guy. And that guy said, well, the person I talked to was kind of shady and he went down this alley that,
Yeah.
and then they
He
come
went
back.
down this alley that had all the neon signs around it.
Yeah. Well, that bum
Right.
was talking
So-
about that alley. And now this guy's talking about the alley. Maybe we should go check it out. And
Yeah.
then
Check it out.
it's a
How do
roundabout way to point.
write? Do you
direction.
write that whole story out before, or do you have it in your head?
I write.
You gotta. You gotta. Yeah. You can have a rough outline.
Yeah.
You can have a rough outline, but there's no it's like Gene Wilder said, man, there's no earthly way of knowing
Right.
which direction we are going. I
Oh,
mean,
I'll-
it's not, you
Yeah.
don't know,
Right.
I'll
right?
pull the
But
curtain back in that role.
because they have agency, they can make any decision, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you go see the warlock, he's going to give you a quest. And it's like, yeah, but we're going to go talk to the witch that owns this spice stall.
Yeah.
Well, why? Do you need
Yeah.
spices? No, but she's a witch. Yeah, but she ain't the warlock, is she?
The thing I
So
like.
we already told you. If
Yeah,
you go over here,
Yeah.
they'll tell you where to go.
So for the campaign I'm starting to run in the world we discussed earlier, Nyan, I'm starting my characters in the thing like I like to do a prologue where it's a little more rails. It has a little more of enclosed space and some stakes that are getting set up. And
Okay.
the way I get my players to bite on hooks and fulfill the outline that I have
Right.
written is that you have to do this, and then the object is to escape. I set it up
Right.
where like I'm gonna make
So they get a overall goal at the beginning. You give them here's what you want to do.
yeah, like
Yeah.
my players are gonna wake up in this facility,
But
and
you
I'm
got, and again, you have to have buy-in.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
If you're starting out like that, you have to have buy-in. Like,
Yeah.
the character has to be the PC has to be someone who's invested in the character and invested in telling the story. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can do stuff like that.
Right.
And then you can put them in. You're like, you're going to wake up in the dungeon, and this is the situation. This is where you're from. This is who you are. You know who you are. You know where you're from. Blah 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 blah. And like, this is how you grew up, and like, you end up in this dungeon. What do you do?
Right.
one of the greatest things that I like to use is I like to have a sleeper agent, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth. I
What's a
like to basically
agent in your world?
like a deputy DM, someone at the
Okay.
table that's playing the game, and they know
Ah,
just a little bit more of the behind the scenes. Someone
right.
who doesn't necessarily care about spoilers, and they just want to
Yeah.
enjoy the game and see what the other players say. And I can
Right.
rely on that player to kind of move them in the right direction. Hey,
Right.
maybe
They can be like, "Hey, what do you guys think about going to see the wizard?"
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I didn't give this guy the entire
Yeah.
story. I didn't tell him why they're going, but I'm like, hey,
Right.
these are the plot points I need to hit. These are the things that should happen. There's going to be this guy that you should probably go talk to. There's going to be this. And then I let it play out. And it doesn't take away the enjoyment for that player at the table because they're still experiencing everything as it happens.
Yeah.
But they have a certain, okay, well, I know my DM is giving me this thing and I can go here with
Yeah.
it.
But that's the thing. You have buy-in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
It's all about
You have somebody
wanting-
who wants to hear the story, who wants to see how it plays out, and who wants to like help facilitate the telling. So like, that's the person in the party who's like, well, my contacts say we got to go talk to so and so and
Right.
such and such in the dock ward, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the character who's like, his underground connections, point you to the Mermaid's Head, pub in the dock ward,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, you get the rest of the guys got to. I mean, they got to come if they want to play. If they want to play,
What I wanted to ask you, Nathan, is this is something from my perspective, is I see it like video games will have like a beta test and they can
Yeah.
correct things. For me as a DM, I have a session 0 where I can, explain stakes and get my people involved and have them immersed in the world. For you, on a narrative level, writing screenplays or stories, what is your process of trial and error? Do you have a proofreader? Do you have a group of people that you let read your rough draft and then, okay, well, hey, they didn't respond to this quite as much, so I need to change this? How does that process work for you?
Yeah, I have done a few different things. Normally, there's like a couple of people that I send it to that I trust to
Yeah.
give me their honest feedback.
That's
But
what I
then
was
I've
going to.
also,
That's what I was
yeah,
going to say.
there's
Some
also
trusted readers.
yeah, there's also some pretty good like screenplay competitions where you can get feedback from the person that
Oh, nice.
reviews it. And so those are good too because they're pretty honest about, and I try and get a lot of like diverse feedback because if several of the people say the same thing, then it's like, okay, this is really something I need to look at again,
Right.
because I don't like, I don't typically write too long of an act 3. And because I'm like, okay, all the good stuff's happened. So like,
Get it done.
right.
We
So
all-
I have to like know that like a lot of people, they want things to be, wrapped up a little bit more. So
We all
stuff
know
like that,
Act
you
2
just
is the
kind of
meat.
know. What's that?
So we all know that Act 2 is the meat.
Right. Exactly.
the meat and
Yeah.
potatoes.
But so yeah, it's yeah, I usually do that, well, what I was going to ask you guys though is, when you're building a world, how do you think of the dynamic of power? and how important that is to the world that you're building? Is it one of the things you think of first, or is it like it's an afterthought? What do you think about? How does that play in your mind?
I
I
think it depends. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keith.
okay.
Okay.
Let's say that I try to think of it as I always want there to be either an overwhelming oppression of power, or I like to make it fairly even, which I know
Okay.
is kind of really the only two answers, but
Yeah, like
that's
balance.
it's like in the world that I have now, I have an overwhelming power of these people that are trying to stop magic, but there is a group of people that were never conquered that still have the magic, that are still pushing back, and it's feasible for them to do something. You never want to make it completely unrealistic for another faction to win, especially when you're telling a collaborative story where your characters can choose any of these factions to side with.
Yeah.
So the way I balance my power is there's always a way for something to happen no matter what they choose. There's
Yeah.
always a higher power they can tap into. Like in this world, there is no gods at the moment because they're cut off. But maybe there's a way for them to tap into that. Maybe there's a way for them to drain this thing a little bit, and then they can reach these higher powers and then get this
Yeah.
level of power that the other people weren't expecting. And
Maybe
it's
there's a way to crack. Maybe there's a way to crack the seal. Maybe there's a way to whatever,
there's all
something to like throw off the balance.
you want your bad
Yeah.
guy to kind of have more power at first, but it might not even be power as like, oh, he controls more land or he controls more city. He could be very cunning, very smart.
Right.
And this power over the politics, over the game, always two steps ahead.
Very influential.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
You know,
power dynamic is always shifting.
very underhanded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That keeps the power dynamic like interesting, right?
Sometimes
Because it keeps
that guy
something
on
always going on.
that's an
Yeah,
interesting story.
I think it really depends. What was that?
So it's also a really interesting story when you have an part of the story where the bad guy is on the run. And okay, well, he didn't expect you to do this. So now he's got to reformulate, but then he
Yeah,
comes back with an even stronger counterattack. And it's this play
exactly.
on power, like it's never a set. Well, these guys have 60%, these guys have 40, and that's how it's always going to be. It's always shifting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting too, because it's like he disappears, right? Well,
Yeah.
what happens when the bad guy disappears? Well, generally, he regroups,
Yeah.
and he's coming back.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
Just wait. You may not know when or where, but he's coming back.
Yeah.
Right?
That also creates an opportunity
That's
for
like
the
that.
player-
That's like that lich.
Yeah.
He may have all his shit where you killed him, but he's gonna wake up in a week at his phylactery, and he's gonna be fucking pissed that he lost all his good stuff to your punk ass.
Yeah.
And that's
So
the
guess
great.
what? Guess what?
Do you think?
He's
Do you
coming back.
ever create characters in your worlds where a being or a person has been in power for so long and they haven't been corrupted, or do you follow the philosophy that anyone with a lot of power
Yeah,
will eventually turn corrupt?
yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That
I have a
attitude.
saying sometimes where I will make a very in D&D world lawful good character,
Okay.
and they try, but perhaps the people around them are the ones that he's sitting on the throne, he's the king, he makes all the decisions, but he has a
Right.
council member or he has his most trusted advisor that maybe is doing back trading deals on him. So it's really hard, especially in a D&D game, to have somebody that is completely lawful good and completely always does the right thing no matter what, because
Yeah.
that's not interesting.
Right.
That's one of the problems I have with a character like Superman is in a lot of and not lately, but a lot of old like golden era comic Supermans, he's the infallible, always good, morally straight, perfect hero. And you have to have guys like Brainiac, who is essentially smarter than him or more powerful than him, Bizarro, and all these other bad guys that can do one thing better than Superman. But in
Yeah.
a game of D&D where you have these characters who are all working together at something and they're not super powered, you don't want them to go up against somebody who people watching, especially if you're gonna like stream the game, you don't want to have them face Superman because
Right.
Superman could always win. So
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a morally implacable guy in power is kind of unrealistic. So I try not to do that.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing for me is always with power is other than maybe a kind of disconnected ultra powerful being that really doesn't care about the day-to-day goings of most people, that most people, when they have a lot of power, eventually will abuse that power for what they perceive as a good thing. I do believe in that. I think that that's mostly how it goes.
Or good for them at least.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, well, we're going to restrict this groups of people's liberties so that they're safe, right? You
Yeah.
guys can't go out beyond the wall because you'll get hurt. So I'm forbidding you to go against out the wall, but it's for your own good. Stuff like that, I think, is always an interesting exploration of power,
That makes me think about like when I write cosmology for my worlds. And that's why in this world I kind of didn't want there to be gods, because writing
Yeah.
cosmology is so difficult because you do have to hit like this guy is the god of good. He can't be bad. So what I like to say is if I have a character that has overwhelming power, I like to think of it as like the Dr. Manhattan effect. They have all of the power. They can do whatever they want. They
Right.
just don't fucking care.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they realize that it's all futile.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't matter
You may gain your power.
it doesn't affect me
Right.
in any way.
No, I'm gonna live in my era, my world, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. And if you want to call on me for a little bit of power, you want to worship me, cool. Here's a little bit of power. You can be a cleric. You could think I'm the best thing ever, but I'm really only focused on what's going on over here. I don't care about what's going on in your world.
Yeah.
A lot of my deities have like the Dr. Manhattan effect, where they just don't give a damn.
Right.
Yeah, they just don't. They're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. And it's like only in the most extreme circumstances might they intervene.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, wait a minute now. That's a little too much. Let me get it. Yeah.
Wait,
I have a
it's
question-
that guy? It's that guy? Oh
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that guy.
He's back. I
I got
thought
a
I
question
killed
for you,
him.
Blake.
That's have you seen Preacher or read Preacher?
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of like that. He's like,
Yeah.
why is it oh, it's you. Oh
Yeah.
God. All right. I'm coming down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you, Blake.
What's up?
You've been a player in a lot more games than I have. I have the forever DM problem. You've played an
I have also forever DM'd for many a campaign.
Yes. From a player's perspective, when you're playing in a game that has a rich backstory, that has something where you understand that the DM has put a lot of time and effort into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Player, when you come into a world like that and you establish the stakes for yourself, are you trying to have that character arc, or are you trying to watch your DM tell this story that you know is going to be fulfilling? What is your main goal as a character in this world?
I think it's I think it's a little bit of both. Right? Like doesn't it have to be a little bit of both?
Right.
Because like in all fairness, like as a player character, like your goal as a player character is to be the hero of your own story.
Right. Yes.
Or at the very least, be involved with a group of somebodies who is a force of change. Right? I don't want to say good because like they may not be good. Right.
Right.
Force of change in this world. Right.
Absolutely.
But again, buy-in so fucking important, dude.
It really is.
Buy-in so fucking important when you're playing D&D, when you're playing tabletop role playing games. Period. Like
Right.
you got to have buy-in.
Yeah.
Right. You're as a PC, it is important to like go with the flow of the story. Right. So whatever's happening, like look, dude, a good DM in a long campaign, a good DM can flavor in all kinds of little funsies for your character if you give them a good backstory.
Yep.
Right. But again, like, that's some work. You're gonna have to do some work. That's okay, right? I as a player love that shit because character creation is fun as fuck. Some people don't think so.
Yeah,
right? Some people don't think so, and I don't understand that, but like, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
We're all playing the game. We're all playing the game. Now, I may get the spotlight more than somebody else does because, like, I did the work on my character that you didn't do. And like, some people get upset at that.
Right.
That's true. That's when you get, some fights at the table and whatever. That's when people quit and, get pissed and whatever else. That's personalities, right? That ain't the story. The story didn't do that, right?
That's why I like to explain.
You didn't take the time. You didn't take the time. Take the time to write your backstory, to make it interesting, to make your character interesting to your DM, to where your DM wants to do fun stuff with your character, right? That's what it is for me, right?
So do you have like a really good player, dungeon master balance? Is it when all the players are actually kind of pretty good creative writers themselves internally?
Not necessarily. There's
not always.
But there are ways to get the nugget you need. If you have a player that's coming into a game and they are strictly there for the mechanical, I want to
kill stuff.
I want to kill stuff. There's a way to kind of, you can get the story nugget you need out of them. Maybe offer them a magical item. Like, hey, if you give me 1 page of backstory, I'll let you start with a magical item.
Yeah. You get a magic sword or something. They're like, fuck yeah, dude. No, I will write a paragraph if you give me a sword.
Yeah.
2 things about your parents and 1 thing that is a tragedy from your past.
Right.
That's all I
need. Your bed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha.
My dog died when I was 6. Perfect. Fucking done, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes.
If you ever watch it, like in every episode, Worf's reaction is, "Should we blow it up?" Like the only reaction in every episode is like, "Should I fire missiles? Like, should I fire phasers?" Like,
that's because the fucking the I can't remember the name of his people.
The Klingons.
Guys,
yeah.
What was it?
The Klingons.
Yeah. The Klingons. Okay. Yeah. The Klingons are warring people.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So of course, in every episode, he's going to be like, "You want me to? You're going to push the red button? This one? You got? We doing it?
My favorite button.
Do I gotta flip open the thingy?
Yeah.
And turn the switch and press the button? We're going to do all the stuff, right? We got to put the 2 keys in and turn them at the same time.
Yeah.
Come on, give me some of that.
Yeah.
Of course, that guy wants to blow everything up, man.
Yeah.
That's his people.
You get Klingons at your table. You get Klingons. I'm here to kill stuff. Yeah.
Always. You will have somebody there. Almost always.
Pretty much every table, I think.
Yeah.
You have somebody completely invested in the story, and then you'll have somebody who just wants to hit things. Right. And that's okay.
Yep.
Because you can, if you're a good DM, you can work around both because neither child are wrong.
Yeah.
They're both there for you, and your job as a DM is to make sure every player
everybody has a good time.
Yeah.
So everybody, you want to give that guy, that's why I like to do little side missions in my stories. Like, maybe they won't continue the plot, but maybe it's not a very time-driven plot, and they have time to, maybe they stop by and they get a mission.
There you go.
The guy that wants to hit stuff, we're about to go hit some stuff.
Hey, we found that these goblins jumped out of the woods.
Yeah.
Right. These goblins jumped out of the woods. They came from
it's your time to shine, Johnny.
They came from that cave over there, man. What are we going to do about it?
Barbarian.
If only we had someone who likes to hit things.
That's right. Yeah. If only.
If only we had a guide.
I like to hit things. Yeah. Okay, shove off, man. Let's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
go
yeah.
hit things. This is you, man. This
Yeah,
is
it's
you
your
right
time.
there.
Yeah.
Go.
Here's a
Hey,
line that we might
look,
be able to use.
players, I'm telling you, take the hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take the hook. Even if you're the guy who's like, I'm gonna hit the things.
Yeah.
That's the hook, right? They
Right.
jumped out of the bushes. Go kill those things.
Yeah.
Go see where they came from. Go down that rabbit hole, man. Go.
The
Go
thing
do
I'm
it.
about to say,
Have a good time. Come on, man.
this could be the name
You
for
have
the
an
video when we upload
opportunity.
it.
What's that?
I said this could be the name for the podcast or for the video, for like the episode. This could be the name for the episode when we upload it. And it's, I think, the biggest BBEG in all of D&D is non-interest.
Oh.
Because if your players are not interested,
Ooh.
then it's not going to be a good game.
No. I 100%.
Yeah. And if you don't understand what BBEG is, Nathan, that
It's the big bad evil guy. The big bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So your
bad
big
evil guy.
bad evil
Okay.
guy is non-interest. If you
Yeah.
don't
He's the
have
guy.
players interested in your world and your story, and they're checking their phones, or they're, if you have a player that looks up what happened, I wasn't paying attention.
Right.
It's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is very hard to keep, a bunch of grown adults that you probably had to argue with 7 times to get them all in a room together, and then you have to try to keep them interested. It's hard. Like when you watch things like Critical Role,
I got to start playing now. Now you guys have got me interested. I'm ready.
I'll run you, man. Let's go.
I'm ready. Let me know when the next one is. I'm in. I'll just let me know the ground rules and I'll get started. Yeah.
Look, man. I told you.
Yeah.
Next one we'll run in your world.
Okay.
Yeah,
right?
Pilot, that'd be awesome.
Like let's start making history in Pylo. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
See, and then you can write about our exploit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Dungeons & Dragons, the mechanics of the game, incredibly simple to learn, complex to master.
Yeah, but incredibly hard to master.
Because it's like they have things set up for players that just want to have an easier time. There's classes out there that just make your life easier.
Yeah.
But then you are somebody that wants to deep dive and get into all the minutia. There's the wizard, there's the sorcerer, there's the bard. But if you just want to and start playing, fighter, barbarian, super simple, still great, but just make it mechanically simple than everything else.
Yeah.
So Hulk smash.
Yeah. Hulk Barbarian is Hulk smash. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hulk smash.
And
Give me a Goliath. Give me a Goliath barbarian with a great axe, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Throw down.
Orego.
Orego. That guy was awesome.
We created this character, me and Blake together for we were doing Avernus, weren't we? Descent into Avernus?
I don't think it was Descent into Avernus. It was some we were running. I can't remember what campaign we were running, but it was something. And Keith came up with this like nervous Cajun half orc.
Yes.
And he would like mumble stuff and hit things.
Oh man.
And something happened and he like got teleported back in time. And then when they met him again, it had been like 20 years in his timeline. So he was older. And they were like, "Is that you?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's me." And everybody's like, "Why are you talking weird?" It's like, that's not
took you so long.
Yeah, and he's like, "Why? Where have you been? Like, what took you so long? Where did you go?"
Always talking about cousin Remy, who actually was
his cousin Remy. Yeah. That was the best. He my brother though.
Anytime somebody died, he'd be like, "Yes, my cousin Ray died."
My cousin Ray died like that. He my brother though.
That's my brother though.
Oh, that's great.
It's like, is he your brother or your cousin?
That's my brother though.
That's my brother though.
But then he would reference him as cousin Remy.
Right. It was we decided that like his uncle was sleeping with his mom or some kind of some weird, you know what I mean? Some kind of something like that. It was a mess, man. That guy was so fun though.
Cousin Ray Ray and
That's
Uncle
a
Remy.
great character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. No, it was Cousin Remy, Uncle Ray Ray. Yep. Straight
Uncle
up
Ray Ray.
Louisiana Cajun. Straight up dumber than a box of rocks.
He was
From
awesome though.
From the town of
He was
Goblin.
he was like crazy strong.
Yeah.
He was like one of those characters. It was like you're like, you're so dumb. I want you to do good.
Actually, let me pull it up. I think I still have the character sheet. Let me see if I
want you to
do.
do good.
Yep, the Rago character sheet. Here we
What
go.
was the character of Mice and Men? That's a Cajun version of him, the guy from Mice
Something like that. Yeah.
and the rabbits. I want to tend the rabbits. Yeah.
His
The
full
rabbit. Yeah. Together.
Rago Le Bon Temps Hébert the Third.
Uh-huh. La bon
you go.
temps.
Rago Le Bon Temps Hébert the Third.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he had a strength 20.
Well, guys, I gotta wrap it up.
Yeah. About that time.
Yeah.
It's been about 2 hours. It's about a good.
All right,
good.
man. Hey, it's been a lot of fun. I think that we should do this again.
Oh
we
yeah,
should absolutely do it again. I totally
I think we should do it again. With the same people or different people or everybody or nobody or whatever. Like we should do it again.
Yeah, we got to get. Yeah, let's get some other guys, and then we can actually
I like
start
the asking
building
questions format. That was pretty good.
I like just bouncing back and forth with everybody.
Yeah, it was fun. Just a good conversation.
I'd watch this on YouTube, so we should post it for sure.
Okay.
There you
Sounds
go.
good. This is a good experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to stop.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later.